Good morning. It's me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine aspects of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment, in our ability to manifest the things that we desire. And if we want to see changes in our interactions, we have to really shift and change the energy inside of ourselves. Thank you. Welcome. If this is your first time here, you can go back. There's a ton of content about this whole twin flame journey. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to get questions answered. If you need personal questions answered, you can contact me at pearlsprayers.com. All the information you need about me and the music I make and the tarot services I provide are all there on that site. So go ahead and check that out. And it is in the description box below. All right, let's get started. This is the release and rebuild spread that follows the obstacles removed spread that we do on Wednesdays. So the releasing that we do on Friday includes the obstacle that we were removing, that both aspects of self were removing on Wednesday, but it's like a refining of the release process. It sort of tells us how we can release the obstacles that we sort of discovered or started to think about on Wednesday. So that's the purpose of the Empress side of the spread. So the feminine side, the Empress side, works on the releasing aspects of this refinement that will help us to completely move past these obstacles. The Emperor spread on the masculine side is going to help us to rebuild from this point of release. This is a series of spreads I designed myself, and they're going to be available soon so that you can use them too. But I'm getting a really beautiful illustration of them done first. So keep your eyes peeled for those. All right, let's start with the Divine Feminine Empress, and we're going to look at what needs to be released for the divine couple, okay? So the Empress, in the headspace and the heart space, which we look at the same time, we use two different decks. In the headspace today, we're using the Field Tarot, and in the heart space, we're using the Star Spinner Tarot. So, Divine Feminine's releasing disappointment, okay? Disappointment and pessimism. The star card is an interesting thing to release because the star is this beautiful healing energy of the divine feminine who is pouring her unconscious desires, which are sparked directly from her alignment with the higher power, into the material. So this is your hopes and dreams and wishes being fulfilled. Divine feminine has to release her disappointment that her hopes and dreams and wishes are not being fulfilled in the way that she intended them to be. She had in her mind the way, shape, and form this was going to take place, and she was holding a vision of that with her ego in the Queen of Wands energy. She asked the universe to give her this essence of something. The universe said, okay. And she had an expectation because of the ego energy that it was going to look and be a certain way. It was going to talk a certain way. It was going to walk a certain way. It was going to, call her up and ask her on a date and go a certain way, right? But she's realizing as she's maturing and learning these lessons in this collective that it's her disappointment with things not working out the way that she wants that is really keeping her from moving forward. Because if she can instead focus on the pleasure with how things do work out for the best, regardless of what she thinks should happen, there's optimism and hope there about being able to manifest what you truly need, okay? Our ego desires something. But what do we know about the ego? We associate it with the devil. It's that little voice inside of us that's trying to convince us that we're separate. We're all separate. We're not all one. We're completely separate. We're not connected to source or God or whatever you want to call that energy. We're just all separate. We're all floating around. There's no point. It's meaningless. There's nothing after we die. You might as well just be, a serial killer, because why not? There's nothing else to do. That the ego just got so extreme there. But that's the ego's job, to make sure we feel separate. Now, that job is important. If we knew we were connected from the moment we popped out onto the earth and started toddling around, which we do actually, if we didn't forget it, if we didn't have that sense as a toddler that we're the center of the universe, we wouldn't really have any sort of desire to explore that much. There's only so much you can do just free floating around and being able to do whatever you want. Like, think about games like Grand Theft Auto. You can go on missions in that game, or you can just tool around and punch people and steal their money. Like, whatever you want to do. Maybe you did spend a lot of time at some point doing the free map and just being like, whoa, look at this and look at that, and discovering all these things. But at some point you're like, I'm going to do a mission and see what I can do, see what I can accomplish. And you go on a mission. In order for the mission to apply, it has to have rules, structures. There has to be limitations. There has to be goals that you need to reach, or else you don't feel fulfilled. You don't feel satisfied. So you're literally asking the program that you're playing, which is completely free. You can do whatever you want. You have complete free will. You're saying to the program, that's kind of boring. Can I do something interesting? And the program is like, okay, what do you want? You're like, well, I don't know. I want to steal like a super expensive car and like break into a bank and steal a bunch of money and have a bunch of cops chasing me and be able to get away from them. And you're just like, all right, it's going to be hard, but you can try. I'll give you all the shit you need to do it. And then you go try and see how many police stars you can get. This analogy is going so far. But do you understand this point, though, that there are reasons for us to ask for something with the ego that will put limitations on us so that we feel like we're overcoming some kind of challenges and we're really, truly developing and being able to actually manifest something in this material world? That's satisfying. So Divine Feminine would be having a lot better time if she accepted that she's asked for this big interactive map where she can do whatever she wants. And then she's asked for some missions so that she's not bored. And the universe is like, all right, here you go. She also has asked for something that you have to be truly developed and healed and refined to have, which she has learned how to become. But it wasn't, if it weren't for this process, we wouldn't be here right now. Know what I'm saying? All right. The hidden assistance that she has during this process of releasing is amazing. In the headspace, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which the Field Tarot has chosen to illustrate as this very vulnerable, pregnant Empress kind of an energy. She is supposed to represent fertility and abundance and creativity. So this is a beautiful image of her, but she's also very prosperous. And she has a very solid throne normally, just like the Empress, because this is the throne upon which the Empress builds her empire. The reversal on a gestating card for me is that the moment has arrived where we're giving birth now. And this is definitely being supported by the Heart Space card, which is the Chariot upright. And I love the two cats here, the black and white cats, which are those two aspects of self completely balanced. There are no reins here because we've surrendered them to the divine. We don't need to drive the chariot. The Emperor, the divine masculine, drives the chariot through the power of the divine. So we've surrendered that. So surrendering the control to the masculine and allowing the feminine energy to just stop waiting and go with this flow of energy that is kind of pushing her in a direction, in a new direction, because this is like a new life. So her hidden assistance here in releasing disappointment is that things didn't work out exactly like she thought they would. Is that the new life that she has actually birthed is even more than she could have possibly imagined she was capable of. And as she releases her vulnerability, her feelings of vulnerability. She's going to see incredible shifts and changes. All right, let's look at where this block originated. We have the culmination, the 9 of Pentacles, which is so abundant. There's a lot of abundance here, people. And we have the Queen of Cups. Look at her there, holding her ship in her hands. So this block of disappointment and things not working out the way that she expected them to came from an attachment to a specific iteration of a masculine energy. So you come here. If you're here through my TikTok, then you're here because of the twin flame labels, because I'm finding the majority of people on TikTok respond to twin flame messages. I get it. I'm experiencing a twin flame journey myself, so I have a complete understanding that that brings you here. However, we have a tendency to take that label and attach it to a human on the planet that is living. Sometimes we've actually put this label on past energy, and we can have twins that have passed from this life. So valid. All things are valid. It is valid for you to associate anyone with this label. However, it is your attachment to this label, to a specific individual, that has caused you to be in a place where you have a block, that whenever things don't work out the way you expect with this person, this can mean a couple different things. This can mean you expect this person to come to you in a certain way. And we do see her holding this ship. So we get this sense of ships coming in from this image. The Queen of Cups is compassionate and empathetic. She's very creative and she's dreamy. She can navigate her emotions, and she's a wonderful, kind, compassionate energy. She's very attached with loving emotional bonds to individuals, right? So there could be this person that you have a romantic interest in, and you have an expectation that they're going to approach you in a certain manner. And when they don't, you have disappointment. You become fearful that your hopes and dreams aren't going to be fulfilled. Instead of pivoting and focusing on the essence of what you're hoping for and giving that to yourself, which is what the Queen of Cups is able to do, you're seeking it outside in material experiences. So if you want to connect in sacred sexual energy with the masculine, but it's not happening that way, then you could potentially be trying to experience that with other energy, which is really dissatisfying and causing you to feel disappointment, because karmic relationships are meant to show us lessons we need to learn so that we can ascend into that balance that will help us to live these really peaceful lives. So learning attachment definitely is part of the thing that happens when we go into these karmic third-party energy type situations. So if you've had those experiences, these are all different experiences that could be represented by where this block originates. Something in you is disappointed by the level of love and compassion and emotional bonding that you're experiencing. What will help soothe you right now? So what can you do right now to soothe yourself? Wow. Harmony. Here's the 10 of Cups and the Hierophant in reverse. Beautiful energy. This is saying focus on the essence of what makes you feel fulfilled. So there are all different things in your life that make you feel fulfilled. Not just union, but hopefully your passions for things. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a writer, whatever work you do is creative. If you own your own business and you're creating your business, you're creating something, right? Whatever creativity in your life exists, that is an essence. That's in one of these cups. Your family is in one of these cups. Your pets, the place where you live. all these cups are filled with all of those hopes and dreams. And if you focus on the essence of them, which is love, unconditional love, 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 love. So it doesn't matter if the situations don't work exactly as you planned. If there's still love, why are you disappointed? This is something I keep having to tell myself. If I can't see this person physically, but I know deep, deep, deep within that this person loves me, that's all that matters. So soothe yourself right now with that. The details of how you come together, when it happens, as much as you just long for it right now because you don't feel complete and fulfilled in yourself right now. That's the only reason why you're longing. The longing, trust me, because I'm entering into this phase of the twin flame journey. The longing goes away when you feel the essence of what it is you desire. All I ever wanted was for this divine masculine, this specific person, to feel my love, to feel loved by me, and to feel it reciprocated. And I realized that if I let go of my disappointment about how this person chooses to express that, all that's left is love. There's no disappointment. It's a hard one truth, right? It's difficult. The Hierophant in reverse is about releasing these limiting beliefs. You have limiting beliefs about what this harmony looks like. What do you know about it? What do you know about it? Think back on your life. Think of all the things you wanted to happen. Think of some of those things right now that if they had happened, you would be like, shit. For instance, when my marriage was failing in 2008 or 9, 2008 or 9, somewhere in there, I think it was 2009, I got the great idea that, well, I'm miserable, I'm unhappy, but I love being a mom. My son was he would have been almost 3 at that point. And I wanted to have more than one child. So I'm all like, oh, I'll have another baby. But you know what? I didn't. Because in 2009, I also matriculated back at Berklee College of Music to study electronic production and sound design so that I could make music the way that I wanted it to sound without having to go through the gatekeeping of a man's industry. I actually focused on literal harmony. I had to take harmony 1 through 4. It was a fucking nightmare. But I decided I chose instead to go for this career that I wanted. And I did really want another baby. It's not like I didn't. But if I had chosen to have it with that person, I would have had double trouble right now. So there's so many things that you wanted that you thought was going to be so great. Release these limiting beliefs about how this person is going to come to you or this career or whatever it is. Release those beliefs and think only of the essence. Don't answer the question, how is this going to happen? Just answer the question, why do I want this to happen? Because why you want it to happen will bring you into the place where you can start to feel that thing. You'll be like, oh, I want to come into union with mind-to-mind masculine because I want to feel arms around me. I want to have physical affection. I want to wake up next to somebody every day and know that they're happy that I'm there next to them. I want to start to think about all the good things, and you can feel the vibrations, the energy start to get, more and more chariot-like as it picks up and up and up and up and carries you out of wherever you are. Excuse me. Okay. Wow, I got to pick up the pace here. What possible future challenges could arise? We have the 9 of Wands in reverse and the 9 of Cups. This is your wishes. The 9 of Wands in reverse is about resisting isolation, resisting being alone and healing and doing the work that you need to do. Oh, wait, this is a different, I'm sorry. That would be from the Emperor spread, but we're on the Empress. This is what can I expect to encounter as I make space for new energy. Okay, that makes more sense. Coming out of isolation, you can expect coming out of isolation, and you can expect wish fulfillment. Okay, that's a really good position. That's better than the Emperor position because we're not doing that spread. This is when we make the space, when we focus on the essence. Look at what the essence looked like in this image. And it's almost like she's dancing in those same colors there. When we start to focus on why, we make room for our wishes to be fulfilled, which at this point is to come out of this isolation. We make the space to heal these wounds. What behaviors have gotten in my way? The universe or the world card in reverse and the 10 of cups. So interesting because we already got this 10 of cups, which will soothe you. But some aspect of this has gotten in your way. What is it? Here is the world card in reverse, which means there's a cycle that we have been refusing to end. And there's a difference, right? I told you what will soothe you. What would soothe you would be focusing on the essence of what you want, which is love, companionship, prosperity, abundance, health, well-being, right? That's all this. What are we focused on here? Marriage. We're focused on marriage. This and the Hierophant is the marriage card in reverse. So letting go of your traditional beliefs about love, ending this cycle, which is just an old story that you're carrying with you from the past. Like, experience the life you're experiencing now, not the one that the television is telling you you're supposed to experience. Just be, right? So ending this cycle where your whole spiritual fulfillment is about this. It's not about this. There's so much else to be fulfilled in. There's so much more to explore. So that behavior of just being like, when I have my true love, my prince, when my prince comes, then I'll be happy. No, you will not. Hello, welcome. We don't do questions here, but you can ask questions in the reading on Instagram Live, or you can go to pearlsprayers.com to ask personal questions. But if you came here, it's likely that whatever you're going to ask, it's probably going to be answered here. Right now, we're focusing on the divine feminine. She's releasing her disappointment at not seeing her hopes and dreams fulfilled exactly how she likes them. We just talked about how she has to release this attachment, that she has to end this cycle where her whole world is all about romance, and instead start to soothe herself and understand that she's asked for love. And love comes not just through this physical union, but from all different aspects of the world that we live in. The next position is, what can I do to avoid this behavior? So what can I do to avoid this belief, this limiting belief that I will feel fulfilled once I experience love with a person, that instead of it being from all the different things then that fulfill me, right? High Priestess in reverse and the Empress in reverse. This is releasing a lot of arrogance. There's a lot of pointy nose up in the air kind of energy that is coming from this for me. And the position is, what can I do now to avoid this? Oh, my whole world is about this. It's releasing the idea that you know exactly what your whole world is. You don't know the whole essence of it. Remember, we talked about it. There are things you wanted. If you got now, you would be real sorry. So you were protected from those things, and you thought you were just denied those experiences. But you actually asked, please don't make my life a living shit show. And in order to do that, I think this would help. And the divine is like, okay, well, what you asked me is, please don't make my life a living shit show. So I'm definitely not going to grant you that next thing you just said, because That's going to directly counter the first thing you said, right? So releasing this idea that only you know what it should look like, okay? You don't actually. Your higher self does. And you need to tune into that. You need to align. That's what we do here. We come here, we listen to the message, we discover from the messages the different things that we need to do to tune ourselves into the place where we get to receive what we desire. You also need to stop waiting. You're waiting to do things. You're like, I can't start, I'm going to start eating really supportive ways and moving my body, and, I'll buy really nice lingerie and stuff when I have a relationship. Stop doing that. Stop waiting to do things when you have the relationship. You can interpret this as stop waiting for a specific person, but you can also just interpret this as stop waiting to do things until you're with a specific person. Just stop waiting. Like, I gotta move. I've been waiting to move, partially because of my financial circumstances, but also because of the mystery of what might happen if my divine masculine should step up. So I'm waiting. I'm living in this terrible environment, honestly. My apartment is very nice. But this is not a walkable area. This is not the kind of place that I want to live. I want to live in a neighborhood with sidewalks and houses. That's where I grew up. That's what I like. I told myself growing up, I didn't want that. I had a different idea. I was like, I want to live in New York City, bitch. I'm over it. I'm ready to move out to the country where there's 10 people and some cows. I need to move. And I got to do it now. I can't wait to do things in my life. So these are the ways that you can avoid getting into this place where you're actually just waiting for that relationship to feel your happiness, fulfillment, and bliss in this moment. Just feel it right now and have a lot of gratitude. Somehow you have a device, an expensive device in your hand, more expensive than the computer I worked all summer to get when I was in high school, right before I went to college. You have a powerful device that you have free time right now to watch me on. You could be using a computer even more expensive than that. You're somewhere, somehow, experiencing a true privilege because you're not toiling every second painfully until you die. So have gratitude for all the things that you have right now. All right, Divine Feminine. What is growing within me or within this connection, if that's why I'm here, as I move on? We're getting the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the 8 of Pentacles, which is a card of working. But for some reason, this deck uses clocks only in this image, which I think is interesting. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. So slow. Stops along every single watering hole. Takes pictures along the way. Notice like a dent on his armor. Is like, oh, I should have all of my armor redone before I continue on the journey. Just pick it. He sees it. He's methodically plotting. He's so solid and reliable. And he's coming to you fully formed because this bitch has been taking his sweet ass time, as you can see. So the reversal on it, and this person here holding the clock in their hands, to me, this is a mastery of this divine timing that is allowing itself to suddenly move from this slow moving energy to come out of that energy and go full forward into the future, which is one that is going to be really fun because you're going to have work to do. This is about your mission that you wanted. Remember, it's like you were free floating around the map for a long time, having all these odd experiences, some pleasant, some unpleasant, okay? And then you're like, I want to do something. So you are going to be able to move away from this time where you've just been sitting here twiddling your thumbs, waiting for this person to complete you, and just go do and be the things you want to be right now. And when you do that, feminine, the masculine can then take that time into his hands and he can reflect this to you, because remember, this is a reflection. So the masculine energy will start moving fast. We'll take control of the clock. We'll work on moving forward with much more speed than has been happening. So ironically, when you let go of believing that this is what makes you happy, he could show up. In the readings on Wednesday, we were encouraged as the Divine Feminine to take some sort of action, and I contemplated my action, but I realized to not do something is an action. I wish I would have thought of that on Wednesday to be able to say that, because I'm sure that some people with those messages took action in different ways, but I contemplated the action that I discussed taking, which was to go to the place where this person would be. And after I finished my studio time yesterday, I realized I have to sing for 8 hours today. I had to get up and do this reading. I have to go sing after this. And it's a lot of singing. I did get really good takes of the main vocal, but I'm a perfectionist, so I'm probably going to do it again at least three or four times. And it's a 4.5 minute song with huge belting. And then I have to do the choir. I have to bring some people in who've never heard this song before, teach it to them, and get them to sing together. So it's going to be a very long day. And I thought about it, and I paid for the studio time. This is my whole life, is to be a musician. It's what I want to do more than anything else in the world, and I want to be really good at it. And I had the choice to potentially be in the same place where I thought that person might be, purely just to give that person the opportunity to approach me. I was not going to approach that person. I was not taking that action. I was just going to make myself open, and realized I couldn't, because it would be a show and I would be talking to people because my friends were going to go, and it would be loud, and I would wake up today and I would have drank probably something. Even if it wasn't a lot, it's 8:44 on the clock. I probably would have had a little something. And whenever I drink, that really does dry out my voice like nobody's business. And it usually takes me a day to fully recover. And I thought about all of that and was like, you know what? I want to go home and go to sleep. And I cannot believe I have entered into a point in time in my life where I'm not going there, not because I'm afraid. I'm sure there's fear there, there's anxiety and nervousness, but it really wasn't the motivator. The motivator was, I could tell the time wasn't right, because I had something really important that I'm creating, and meeting this person is a part of my journey. It's a part of what I desire, but my true creativity, the reason I'm here, is my mission, not showing up at the same place so that person can ask me on a date, but creating this thing I have been called to channel as a vessel. And I made that choice without sadness. I was happy. I felt so excited when I got home and listened to what we did. I was like, oh my God, this music is so amazing. It's so important. What I'm doing is so important. I'm getting emotional because I'm thinking about how, and it didn't diminish my love for that person. I was like, oh, I'm not worried. Like, it'll work out. I'll be able to play this track for him. He'll be like, fuck yeah, I'm glad you didn't go to the bar. Your voice sounded amazeballs. And I'll be like, thank you. We hope. Anyway, I decided not to take action, which is an action. And in so doing, I know that I told the universe, I want what I said I wanted, because what I want is fulfillment. And a person isn't going to fulfill me. But the thing that I'm called to do in the world is going to fulfill me. And it doesn't mean don't get to be with that person. It means I do get to be with that person. Because now that person knows that I'm really serious about what I want. And I am making space in my life to have myself and that person. And when our schedules align, it'll be great. But when we're together, it's not like our schedules are going to align every second of the day. If I was in fear, I would have gone, because I would have been like, I have to see him. I have to give him this opportunity. What if we miss it? What if this? No, that's not going to happen. That is where you want to be, divine feminine. So release this disappointment that things didn't go exactly as they planned. And for the masculine who's watching this right now, who might be disappointed because there might have been a thought that I would go, release the disappointment that things didn't work out the way they were supposed to. Because what do I get? This thing that you're going to be so proud of. Let's look at divine masculine side. We're going to look at the emperor side, and we're going to rebuild from this release. Top of the deck headspace and bottom of the deck heart space. I'm using the Ethereal Visions Tarot for the headspace, and I am using this new tarot. I got the Tarot of the Doors. Is that what it's called? Yes. Tarot of the Doors. Very interesting because every picture has doors in it, and it's about opening and closing doors. It's my first deck that I've ever purchased where I feel very much I don't feel called to read reversals in it. I've always heard other readers be like, I don't read reversals, and I'm like, why? That's like this whole other layer. But I understand, like, these cards speak the reversals even in their upright position, and I have never had that feeling before from a deck, but it's very interesting. Incidentally, if you want to send me new decks so the imagery changes up, you can click the link below, or you can go to pearlsprayers.com and hit support. There's a send me a deck button down there too. And I do appreciate all the decks I receive. This one is from my sister. So this is what divine masculine is trying to do. He's trying to rebuild divine feminine's trust at his ability to reciprocate. This is the Six of Pentacles in the heart space and the High Priestess in the head space. So he is really trusting himself also to reciprocate, to be able to give these gifts, to be generous with the feminine energy. This is really what he needs to rebuild, because this is what has made her disappointed, right? That he is consistently not reciprocated. And so he's rebuilding this trust with her. I am going to show up. I am going to invest as much as you invest. His hidden assistance. Oh, my animal spirit card deck is getting excited. His hidden assistance is the Ace of Swords in reverse in the headspace and the Seven of Pentacles in the heart space. So here's the thing. This is a hidden assistance. Divine masculine is so afraid that the truth that he needs to communicate to divine feminine in order to rebuild her trust is going to be so painful that he's been afraid to approach her. But what's helping him is he's releasing these fears that this truth is going to hurt her. And instead, he's seeing her because it's the truth about why she's been waiting. This toiling that he's been doing, trying to make things ready for her, this is about seeds being planted and now it's time for harvest type of a thing. He's been really afraid that she'll be hurt by the reasons that he was just working, that he was literally just working to get money, that he was working to release old patterns, old cycles, old partners, unpleasant circumstances. He's been so afraid, this is going to hurt her feelings so much and she's not going to want me. She's going to reject me. But instead, we see this divine feminine who is absolutely joyful, releasing this dove, this peaceful dove, because in the end, she doesn't care about any of these reasons. She doesn't even need an apology. She's like, I know, because I've become the divine feminine, and the divine feminine isn't petty, and she's not jealous, and she's not ego-based, and she doesn't think that you do things to her. She understands that things happen for both of you so that you can come into this alignment. So this hidden assistance divine masculine has is he thinks he's going to hurt her when he's like, listen, this is why I didn't come. Or this is what I have to tell you. And she doesn't care. The truth sets her free. And she's patiently awaited it. And she's going to be so happy to get the truth. She's going to be like, baby, I don't care. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. I'm just happy to see you. That's it. So that's his hidden assistance for how to rebuild this trust with her. All right. The first position for this is what past experience challenges me in this rebuilding process. the Fool in reverse in the headspace, and the King of Swords upright in the heart space. Now let me take a good gander at this because I just bought this deck and I haven't seen the King of Swords before. But we have this older gentleman with a black bag, could be a medical bag, or he could be a physician of some kind, visiting this elderly woman sitting in a wheelchair. The King of Swords is an energy that is direct in his integrity. He is very intelligent. He strategizes. You know, he's the type of person that would become a doctor. He's like an overachiever, really driven. But he's very icy and cold. He's not got great bedside manner. Okay. He's going to be like Dr. House. Like, he'll get the shit done, but he's kind of a dick, you know? Like, he's not really tapped into his feelings. He's conquered his feelings. And I think it's interesting that we're seeing him approach this feminine energy, this older feminine energy. Now, this could indicate a maternal energy. So, and it does. It's not could. It does. There is a maternal energy in his past who taught him to behave this way, okay? Who taught him to be disconnected, detached from his emotions. This energy has manifested now in his present, in his current situation, or even in his past. He's had partners where he has maintained this relationship with them. And this past experience of how he was raised, or how he saw feminine energy behave with masculine energy, or if he had a past marriage, how he was raised, there was somebody and this is actually something to have compassion for, because in this image, we're seeing somebody who is, I mean, if we're using not the most like politically correct terms, but the things that pop into our mind when we see someone in a wheelchair, we think that they are crippled, right? And so there is an emotional crippling that happened to this person that caused her to be unable to nurture this masculine, which is why this is Divine Feminine's hidden assistance. She is the ultimate nurturer, completely vulnerable. That's why Divine Masculine is attracted to her. This is the opposite. This is an elderly woman who is unable to move her body anymore. And this is a young, fecund person who is ready to give birth. It's a totally different energy. So this past energy, this relationship potentially with his mother, or a maternal figure of some kind in his life, or a past partner, this has made it difficult for him to express emotion effectively. And this is also somebody, I think, who taught him to focus on his career as being the most important thing. This has been foolish. Also, this Fool, he's leaping joyfully. We don't know what's going to happen, but the sun is here. There's a sense here that if he leaps, the universe is going to catch him. So Divine Masculine has consistently been afraid to step forward. And he's been afraid to come forward and express because of how he was raised. All right. What can I do right now to build my confidence? We have the King of Wands in reverse and the Two of Wands. Look at this image. This feminine who is entering through a closed door, passing right through it. Now, the Two of Wands is a card that is traditionally associated with twin flame union. It's about asking for something and waiting for its fulfillment. And it can be about planning how to do it. Now, I love this idea that the door is closed and the feminine is able to pass right through it. It's like that door doesn't even have to be open. She's ethereal. There's like an immaterial aspect to her that allows her to be present to the masculine even when this door is closed, even when there is this inaction. Now, if divine masculine wants to be able to build this trust with the feminine, he needs to take action. He needs to open the door. But what should make him feel confident is that even though he is not doing that, she is still able to come through this door to him. She just needs the invitation. She needs the door to be open. But even if it's not, she's still here, which is such an interesting energy. Nothing can hold that feminine energy back from this masculine, and that should help him to feel very confident. He also needs to release his ego. The King of Wands in reverse is not being so egotistical, not being so worried about appearances, not being jealous or angry or wrathful, letting go of those baser emotions that pull us away from our higher calling. What possible future challenges could arise? We have the Three of Swords, and we have this Ace of Pentacles, and it's such a strange Ace of Pentacles because there's just like a woman sitting there. I mean, the Ace of Pentacles is such a beautiful card. It's so much abundance. So if this is presenting as a challenge, I'm seeing somebody holding keys to this house, and I'm seeing third party. So there could be some challenges coming in from this third party energy that has possession, that has the key to divine masculine's house, his family. So there could be another family here. The person who controls his access to his family, it is possible that he's going to have some challenges there. If we're looking at this as there's this overbearing mothering energy, and this could be situations where people, they like where the masculine can't move forward because of displeasing his parents, losing inheritances, things like that, losing access to the family home, or there's something about that going on that could possibly challenge him. He's being given this message, and he has to prepare himself that he might, for a time, lose access to, it could be children from another marriage. If this is a situation where the divine feminine was a third party and there's a divorce and stuff, there could be a financial issue, losing house, home, things like that. That is a potential challenge that could come up. What past behaviors have destabilized me? We have the Page of Cups, and we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. So we might have had somebody that actually had some medical issues that were preventing them from coming forward. This could be also just in general about COVID, because of the situation that we're all in, the pandemic. There could be actual reasons for separation that can't be overcome because of that for some in the collective, long distance relationships, etc. I think of that too because of this kind of foggy, this not a whole lot of clarity here about where this person is. I just saw a dove. There's a white pigeon. I mean, that's what a dove is, but there is a dove, like a mourning dove, that has started to come visit me occasionally, and I just saw her. Okay, yep, there she is again. So this, but the Five of Pentacles is lack mentality in general. Okay, and it's also leaving someone out in the cold, not bringing them in, not bringing them into your sanctuary. The Page of Cups is true love. It's innocence, it's naivete, and it's wishy-washy too. Like it's like gonna carve your initials on a tree, but like, okay, still sitting there, not moving forward. So divine masculine has felt an impoverishment in love, in true love. He's felt a lack of true love in his life, which has caused him to doubt its existence. even though he feels it and he's very romantic and really, really, really believes in it, it's just this belief in this lack of true love or his ability to express it. It's been very difficult. This is also about apologizing. So being afraid to apologize for putting divine feminine into this experience where she's had to wait for him to heal. He's that destabilized him. He doesn't want to come in and have to be like, he wants to come in and be like, I love you. Life is amazing. Let's be together. And he has to come in and be like, I love you. I'm sorry I was not here for this amount of time that is crazy making. And I'm sorry for these things that I did. And he doesn't want to come in like that. And so because he doesn't want to come in that poverty, he's naively just been like holding the cup up for her to see, but not actually giving it to her. What can I do now to avoid this and stabilize? 4 of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles. This is letting go your attachment to wealth, prosperity, and external validation. It's also believing that you have to have finances in place in order to be able to have your Queen of Pentacles. What the fuck? What the fuck do you need fucking Pentacles for? The Queen, she's the queen of them. She doesn't need your Pentacles. Your Pentacles would be nice to pool together in a nice big Pentacle fund and be able to do whatever the fuck you want. But she's absolutely capable of inviting in a lot of abundance. So there's really no need for you to feel like you have to stabilize divine feminine. You also don't have to worry about what people think of her, because this bitch does not worry about that. She doesn't care what people think. So releasing your worries about what people think of you or her. And there could also be, if we're going with this storyline where there is this third party maternal energy or a past partner, it can be fully releasing this other feminine energy. And not holding on to your own wealth. Like if your challenge is that you'll have to give up, like let's say some of your wealth, give it up then. Give it to this bitch. Who cares? You can always get more wealth. Can you always get this true love? Is the moment always going to be opportune for you? That's the whole twin flame journey, right? Is getting those things to align. So grab the bull by the horns. All right. The final position for divine masculine is, what future prospects do I have to look forward to once I rebuild and stabilize? Oh, shit. Oh my God. He got 2 cards for the heart space and I allowed it because sometimes I just do. His ass is getting the Hierophant upright, which is, did I not say the marriage card? Sacred union, higher level ascension, learning lessons, combined with the 3 of Cups, which is a card of partying, union, and celebration, and the 4 of Wands, which is the minor arcana marriage card. If you can rebuild this trust with divine feminine, release your fears about this other maternal energy and how it's going to affect you, and reciprocate the way that you desire. Not be afraid that the truth is going to hurt divine feminine. She's not going to be hurt by it. She understands the journey. She's ascended. She's learned these lessons. That's why you're in sacred union. Then you can have this marriage. You can have the sacred union. You can have the celebration. This is what you want. This is the end result you're looking for. It's yours. Go get it. What did I say? Grab the bulls by the horn. Just do it. Okay. Grab the bulls by the horn. Love that for you. Hey, let's look at the sexy energy now. We're going to start with divine feminine. And we're going to look at what she needs to release in order to have sexy times. And we're going to look at what will help her to be able to release. And I don't make this up, okay? We have the 9 of Swords. This is what she needs to release. And honestly, this isn't a laughing matter. This is a lot of fear and anxiety and worry that comes from a past sexual trauma or fear of sexual trauma. Now, this can be an actual assault victim. This can be a person who is afraid because when she gets into sexual union, then, people fuck off after that. And it's like, it ends up being dissatisfying. And it can also just be nervousness and anxiety about actually being physical with this specific iteration that she's wanting to be with. So this is what needs to be released in order for her to be physical. What will help her? The 7 of Pentacles. We love this 7 of Pentacles. I'm for it, okay? I'm LGBTQ plus over here, Auntie, so I love this Slutter's Tarot. Patience with herself, her experience, and the time it takes to heal something like this, right? This is a lot of damage, a lot of pain. So being really patient with herself, being gentle. A lot of times this is a weird analogy, but I watched that documentary, Hot Girls Wanted or whatever, and was appalled at the porn industry and was like, I really need to stop watching porn. However, one of the things that was mentioned is that typically when women enter porn, they start with same sex and move into things that get increasingly more traumatic. And it usually damages them, and then they have to be in this situation. Okay, great. We love that. I wish sex work could be so much healthier because it was not shame-based. If sex work was not shame-based, it would be a wonderful, beautiful community of like tantric sex workers who could heal the world with their bodies. That would be amazing. But anyway, the point being, there's a feeling of starting in safe ways. So like easing in to the full experience, just a little bit at a time, and being patient with yourself about the healing that needs to take place. Because if you engage physically before that healing is completely taken place, you will feel I would say disconnected from the experience. Okay. Now let's look at the oracles to help you continue to release. You're in the archetype right now you're in the shadow attributes of the artist, which is using talent as an excuse to mistreat others and posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. However, let's look at the light, which is expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses and inspiring others to see life symbolically. Now, I'm feeling not so much the shadow that's written on this card, as I'm feeling that the message from the reading was releasing this idea that the only thing that will bring us fulfillment was this companionship, and really not putting as much value in the spiritual harmony that you actually achieve when you fully enter into your creativity as a divine feminine. So I definitely think that you want to embrace your artistry and understand that the fulfillment of this physical companionship probably has given you motivation and content for what you do, and it has value, and really understanding that. We're getting the Martyr card in reverse as well, which is an addiction to self-pity. Now, the Artist card also had starving artists to elicit pity. So there could be this tendency that you're having that staying in this place of where you're disappointed. When you call your friends and your friends are like, oh, how are things going with your DM? And you just can't wait to tell them how disappointed you are. Oh, he didn't do that. He didn't do this. He didn't do the other thing. He didn't do that. And oh, your friends feel so bad for you. Oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that 9/11 on the clock. I'm so sorry that's happening to you. Like, that's so terrible. Like, I hope that ends. Like, and you're like, yeah, woe is me. Like, this is happening to me. Blah, blah, blah. I've been waiting all this time, and like this divine masculine is just not coming. Well, that's what you're getting. And now it's not about divine masculine coming into union with you. It's about other people seeing how difficult it is for you to be in union with this person. Come into the light. Learn the transcendent nature of service to oneself for a cause. I'm going to say that to you again. Learn the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. What did I tell you about my decision not to go to be with the person that night? It's because I had a service that I needed to do to myself and for my higher calling. So be in the light of that martyr card. God. That's your protector today. Love. That's what you would soothe you. Right? Just love. And that's what's here to soothe you. And it's not, I mean, there's a bunch of other guardians. This is the head honcho. And this is the divine masculine energy loving you. That is here right now, helping you release your disappointment, because there is no reason to be disappointed. All that you have experienced is love. That's it. What you didn't experience was your physical manifestation the way that you wanted it. But that had nothing to do with the love that existed there. It's always been love. Instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. Do you see? Instead of praying, oh, can my divine masculine come tonight and pound my pussy? Not for kids. I always select that button when I go to this video. Can you just do that? God's like, no. No, because that's not for the highest good of all. And you said, when you came here, that you wanted to do what was best for the highest good of all. That was a mission you wanted. So no, you can't have that outcome right now. Until you're praying for the highest good of all, then you can have what I think is what you want. What I know, rather, as the divine. Fertility is a thing. We saw this image of this Queen of Pentacles here. We got the Queen of Pentacles, got the mothering energy. The divine feminine is definitely fertile right now. There could be births, but this is really this womb energy is also about like the union birthing. It's not just about, pregnancies. People always say the Empress card and they're like, oh, someone's pregnant. I mean, like, there's so many more interpretations of that card. Fertility is fertility. It doesn't mean necessarily about humans. But you're in an abundant, prosperous time. You're fully in your Empress energy. Emotions are running high with an emphasis. This, to me, is a reversal. This is emotions are suddenly, even as the speed is picking up, as we're hurtling towards this union, finally we're not being so sensitive anymore. Our ego is not like a tripwire for all these terrible emotions to surface. You've been training for this for lifetimes. We got this for Divine Masculine yesterday, and it's coming out for you today with Trust Your Path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So basically, this is like, you've been training for this. Now that you know that you are absolutely prepared to do this mission that you're resisting, now that you know that you're prepared, now that you feel that you're fully supported, what would you do? You have to answer that question for yourself. You have trained for this. Don't hate me. This is watch and wait. This is a card that says, not my circus, not my monkeys. Don't worry about divine masculine's third-party energy. Just watch and wait. And this is another card of fertility because the male seahorse carries the infants in this species. So this is another pregnant pause, okay? And there's a hanged man energy here. You're just gain this perspective while you're waiting about what you thought you wanted and releasing what you think that is. And then this is coming with the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords upright, who is discerning. She can see very clearly. She's not swayed by high emotions. She's absolutely conquered them, similar to the King of Swords. But she's very clear-headed. She's not overthinking. She's a strategist. She absolutely has a strategy. But she's able to be detached from her emotions so that she can see things happen. Like if she sees her divine masculine with a third party, she doesn't automatically assume that he doesn't love her anymore and has gone into some third party attachment. This story that appears on this card is from China. Turandot is the name of the tale. And it says Arabic folk tale, but then it says from China. The Queen of Swords is a fierce and exacting force. Turandot does not forget betrayal, so her judgments, while fair and principled, seem brutal and cold. Still, she is open-minded and intelligent and can be charming and witty when she chooses. Protection, meaningful criticism, tough love, skepticism, and intelligence. I'm called mostly to the intelligence and maintaining of boundaries. Watching and waiting is like, you got a circus going on there, and I don't want to get involved in that. So I'm just going to sit here on the side, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to wait for that to be over. I'm going to look clearly. I'm going to be very discerning about the perspective I've gained as I watch you clean up your mess, okay? That is the release energy for the feminine. Now let's go to the masculine. We'll first look at the sexual energy for him. What does he need to rebuild, and how can he rebuild it? The Mother of Cups. He's got a lot of mothering energy in this. This is what needs to be rebuilt. This is what needs to be released, rather, and how he will rebuild it will be here. He needs to release that maternal energy we saw, that from his past experience that was emotionally crippling, okay? This Mother of Cups energy. I think there's also here, in terms of sexual union, this is needing to be really, really invested in the emotional aspects of sexuality, and having a loving bond with the person that you're interacting with. The way to rebuild that is this Two of Cups in reverse. So for me, there is some kind of a karmic energy that needs to be released, fully released. So his memories of maybe he had, this is really traumatic, but there could have been a maternal caregiver that was a predator. Because of the fact that the feminine side of self has to release what looks like a very painful sexual trauma. And I'm just getting a sense here that there's something about the maternal energy, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the maternal energy perpetrated this against divine masculine, but he had physical experiences, or he observed the mothering energy engaging in maybe she had a lot of relationships. Maybe she was having a lot of third-party energy herself, and he's afraid of divine feminine being the same way, or he's afraid that he's like that because the mothering energy was like that. But there's definitely, for him to have really sacred sexual union, he has to heal this past energy, something going on here that has to do with maternal energy. It could be the mother of his children, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think the mother of his children, if he has been in a past relationship, has all the negative energy because of a much earlier, much older wound, deeper wound. So he has to work on rebuilding now this physical connection with the divine feminine in the current time, 9:22 on the clock, 1:10:11 on my other clock. With her, he must do that with this emotional bond at the forefront of this experience with the feminine. All right, let's look at his oracles. All right, so this is rebuilding. Divine masculine, you're in the shadow attributes of the scribe right now, which is altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. So you keep using others' words to express yourself. You keep hiding the truth by using, like, for instance, my divine masculine uses music all the time, songs, playlists, stuff like that. It could be somebody that's sending you poems, or they could send you artwork, pictures of artwork, just different things that are not their own creation to try to express themselves. And the problem with that is that those things can be misinterpreted. They're not direct, right? So he's not directly communicating. He's not writing to you directly. To come into the light, he needs to actually write real messages to the divine feminine without, plagiarizing, just in your own words, how you feel. Wow. This is Mother Teresa. It's in reverse. There is something going on with the divine masculine's mother. And it's caused long-term rippling effects with all feminine energy for him. Right now, Mother Teresa, who is the most nurturing and caring and loving, and deals actually with the ill, the crippled, the maimed, that's what she does. She is here to help you. She's telling you you're not taking action because of this wound, but she's literally here to place her hands and heal this wound for you. Let her be your mother. Let her show you how the divine feminine truly is. This might be a call to learn about her and her ministry and believe that this truly nurturing, mothering energy exists, even if you didn't have an opportunity to experience it in your life. Thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. There's that lesson that we keep learning today. Through this journey, through these experiences, all that has happened is we have become open. We've become open, and our eyes have become open, and we've become expanded to these perceptions to be able to see that everything that is happening is for the highest good, for the good of all. Prosperity in reverse. Oh my, the next card, I just can't even fucking believe it. But let's do this one first. Prosperity is in reverse here. Followed by empowerment, or who? The Empress in reverse. Divine masculine, the feminine energy for you. There is this this old wound received from the maternal energy, or passed through the maternal energy, has created a scenario where the feminine that has been attracted in the past has been incredibly distorted. There's a fear that divine masculine has about his own fertility and power to be prosperous and abundant, because when he sees where he comes from, he sees only the wounds, and he's not sure how to see himself as a feeling feminine energy that is truly healed. He sees the external feminine that he's after as the ultimate feminine. And he is starting to mentalize that that is his twin, which means that is what is available to him within himself. But he doubts it. The same way that divine feminine doubts that divine masculine will take action because of her worthiness. He doubts that this is really available to him because he never saw it. The truth is, he sees it in the divine feminine, and that's how he's able to develop it within himself. So coming into union with the divine feminine heals those mother wounds, but those mother wounds must be healed in order to come into union. You and your loved ones are safe, Cancer. This is the Cancer energy here. If there was a Cancer scare, it's you and your loved ones are safe. I'm hearing that message. It's not you don't have to worry about that. Or if there was a diagnosis, it's going to be healed, something like that. But this has to do with house and family. We saw this fear he has of his future challenge, that this third party is going to block his access or keep his access from this family that he's had. But you're being reassured. You don't have to worry about this. She's not going to be able to do this. This is the challenge that you're going to have to face, this fear. But it's a fear only. She's not going to be able to prevent access. Play. Have fun and celebrate. This is 3 of Cups, which was what you get if you could freaking rebuild. You get to have this union. And then, wow, we're getting Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. Wow, divine masculine. There is definitely this wound that has been passed from the past, okay? Because this is a card about divine orchestration. It's about, this Saint Anne. When we hear about the concept of Catholicism of the Immaculate Conception, there is a misconception, pun intended, that event is when Jesus was placed in Mary's womb. But that's not what the Immaculate Conception truly is. We celebrate the Feast of the Immaculate Conception in May, which is the month of Mary, because Mary was the Immaculate Conception. God made Saint Anne's womb pure so that he could put Mary within her, because Mary had to be a pure vessel in order to birth God. That's all about orchestration. The wound you experienced was put into your maternal energy from another maternal energy, probably a grandmother energy, okay? That carried this wound. This is a generational wound, divinely orchestrated for you to be able to come into sacred union. So the forgiveness for your mothering energy must extend generationally. Why is the feminine distorted generations ago? Because women have been oppressed. The feminine has been distorted by the perception of it by the dominant masculine energy, the imbalance. You are getting Rhino Spirit, overcome any obstacle, as well as the 5 of Coins, the 5 of Pentacles, which was what? Your obstacle, the thing that challenges you, that destabilizes you, lack mentality, keeping divine feminine out of your sanctuary because you are afraid of the power of the maternal energy to wound you or hurt you. But you can overcome any obstacle. Let's look at the Tarot of the Divine just to see the story of this 5 of Pentacles. This is the Little Match Girl. Oh, my mom used to tell me this story when I was little. It's a Danish fairy tale. The 5 of Coins represents financial hardship and feeling left in the cold. The little match girl needs help, but no one is willing to help her. She struggles alone, despite her proximity to a force that could potentially help her. Overcome this obstacle. Right now, you could help the divine feminine in a huge way. you could really show up. You could really show up for her. Let me get Rhino Spirit's message, because that's not a card I get all the time either. And sometimes we get some extra messages. We always have the choice to press ahead. And Rhino Spirit's strength offers you the power to break through stubborn obstacles. This animal spirit knows there is more than one way to open a path to what you seek. When Rhino Spirit appears, you are reminded that you have a marvelous ability to overcome obstacles in multiple ways by going around them, shattering them with the force of clear, deliberate intentions, or even transforming them into clouds that drift away by refusing to allow them to limit you. Apply your Rhino Spirit with creativity, and no obstacle can stand, for you have magic to make and many ways in which to make it. Your power is awesome right now. Rhino Spirit also wants to remind you that when an obstacle appears to prevent you from getting what you desire today, it means that something much better is coming. Keep that in mind when you consider the nature of the obstacle in front of you now. Great Spirit loves you so much and only wants what's best for you. Beautiful message. All right, let's actually do the cards for the union. I forgot to do those yesterday, I realized after I did the reading. Wow, okay. These are the cards that you are both in alignment in regards to. So you are both in union in this energy. You are both in the union of the Exorcist. This card used to freak me out. You are freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. You are facing your demons. You are not letting your demons dictate your behavior. You are not letting the ego detach you from the higher spirit. 9:33 on the clock. You are very focused on moving forward in with freedom. Saint Joan of Arc, you are a leader. You really have to embrace that you are leading the way. You are spearheading a journey that a lot of people are on. The amount of views I'm getting on my TikToks is astonishing to me. And I'm not saying that from a place of ego. I know that there are even higher views on other twin flame readings on TikTok, but one of my readings is over, I think it's up to 80,000 views, which means there are 80,000-ish people on that journey, feeling that same kind of feeling of, trying to understand how to love unconditionally. And there's way more than that. There's way more people than that. I just heard today from Meredithia Crystals, her reading from, I think it was from yesterday. I read it. I got it today. And she said in her reading that for every ascended being, they bring 100,000 people into the light. Embrace your leadership role, the two of you. You are being called to lead people out of the cold. It's not just the divine feminine in the cold. Remember, this isn't just about this couple. This is about a much bigger thing. Mother Teresa was a modern day saint who did massive things in India right now through the power of God. She changed lives, altered hundreds of thousands of lives, for sure. She's a beacon of hope and light for Catholics everywhere. And for non-Catholics, she even represents the ultimate divine mother. That's the kind of leadership we're talking about. That's why when we get people that are like, oh, my guy is so stupid and cheating and blah, 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 I'm always like, that's not the journey, man. The journey isn't to worry about who the divine masculine is getting busy with on the weekend. The journey is about understanding that you have found somebody that you can't not love, which is how God is every single second of every single day. He can't not love anyone. You just found someone like that. And now your torture is, how can I still love this person when they're not perfect? And you're like, oh, the same way that I can love myself when I'm not perfect. And when I do love myself, I actually take myself away from people that treat me in ways that aren't loving. And that's what I learned. And I'm going to teach other people to do that. Hopefully 100,000 people. I hit 70,000 people have started to hear my messages. Am I going to be able to teach every one of those? No. There's a lot of people that are just going to listen to the messages and not learn. Words don't teach. Experiences do. But some of them go to my website and book personal readings, and I have an opportunity to help them find who they are, find their passions, find how important they are on their own without another person, so that they can be in a place where they can have wonderful, fulfilling relationships, which is what I'm learning to do. And I'm sharing my experiences, and that's helping them. That's the mission. Go do it. Happiness is my birthright, and I always change this to contentment. Because fuck happiness, man. Happiness is great. So is sadness. Haven't you ever had the worst moment where you were so incredibly sad and you were listening to the saddest music and you were eating the richest ice cream and you were just like, and then you binge watch Sex and the City? Wasn't it kind of fun? Can you just admit that to yourself, please? Why would you listen to sad music or torture yourself with rom-coms if you didn't want to stay there? Because it kind of feels good sometimes to just cry until your snot is all over your face. We don't know why, but it does. So I always change this to contentment because I want sadness in my life too. I want the full spectrum. Contentment is being like, I'm sad, but ultimately I'm content. You know, this is just a sad moment for me. And it's also like, oh my God, I'm so happy. But you know, there's going to be sad moments. So I'm just really enjoying this and grateful for it. I just feel really content right now. But it's your birthright. Well-being is your birthright. That's why when you get a cut, your body heals it. Because well-being is your nature, not disease, right? Not dis-ease, but ease. Boundaries in reverse. This could be that you're being a little too strict with your boundaries or that you need better boundaries. It could be with people around you. It could be with each other. I'm feeling like this is probably more to do with some of the other people in your lives. And I think it has to do with how you're communicating your hopes and dreams. It's like you need to not speak about things until they actually are there, because most people don't have the ability to see potentiality the way that we do in this community. People are very much focused on reality, which is unfortunate because when you're focused on reality, you can't change it as easily because you're seeing it be the same. You have to kind of be like, reality is sort of irrelevant. People's limiting beliefs about it, they don't really affect me. They're not at play for me. And then you can manifest what you desire and create your own reality. So it might be about communicating with the right individuals in your life, setting up boundaries with people that are really not going to get it, and not taking that personally, just being like, well, they're on an earlier stage in their journey. You're very close. You're very, very close. And I know I've gotten this card before, and you're like, you got that card before, you said it was very close. Well, you're still very close. You're still very close. Even if you've been watching these readings for a year, and you were very close last August, you're very close. 1 year is very much closer than 13, which is where I started. We were really moving to this culmination. Wow, this message came out in reverse because it is wanting me to emphasize it, and I don't even need to read the card because this is the Pleiades card, and it says double mission. You have 2 parts of the mission. You want to know the parts? Channeling and uplifting humanity. There was nothing in there about being in sexy times with a person. Nope. It was about channeling energy and using it to uplift humanity. That's your job. If you get to come into a union while you're doing it, cool for you. But it's not the mission, so don't get it twisted. Give with gratitude and grace. Coming out with the Fool. And it's the Little Mermaid. take the leap and do it with gratitude and grace. Be thankful that you have this opportunity together, this new beginning, and just be grateful for each other and approach one another with grace. All right, let's close out the reading now with some messages that are about just the minor things we can do today to help us with this process. Oh, man, I'm feeling so wiped. I don't know why. Got decent sleep, I guess. I don't know. It might be the reading. I have to perk up because I have to go sing today for a long ass time. All right, this is that point where I start harassing you to go do things to help support me so that I can keep reading for you for free, which I do really love doing. If you want to support me, please go to pearlsprayers.com. There's literally just a support button. You can give a gratuity of any kind if you feel so inclined. And then there's services I have, different readings. I teach electronic production and sound design. I teach musicians how to produce, and I co-produce with people. And you can hear my music on Spotify. Look up Pearl in the Prayers, the song It's Me, Babe, that just came out. Oh, I see a card. I saw a turned over card, but these cards are black, and so like I saw it again. Yes, so go do all the things. Pearlsprayers.com. You cannot have that many cards, Divine Masculine. Please stop. Okay. And Divine Feminine. Oh, stay tuned to my stories on Instagram because the reading with Grace Strega this weekend is supposed to take place tomorrow at noon. I think that is what is going to be happening, but just keep an eye. It may get canceled or postponed. It's definitely not happening on Sunday, that much I know. So just keep an eye on the stories, because when you come to that reading, we do a check-in, and then you can ask us personal questions. So we can pull cards for you, or you can ask us actual personal questions if you want to know things about us, or if you want to learn different things about tarot. Sometimes we talk about astrology, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, last cards here. What am I doing? All right. 2 for feminine, and that's it. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. I'm done. All right, let's see. Divine Feminine. Here are the minor things that you need to do today that will help you to come into your alignment, fully release, and rebuild so that you can have what it is that you truly desire. You are getting the camera in reverse, and I always see this as Instagram. Get off Instagram. It is saying reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past, and make memories. And then we are getting self-indulgence, focus on self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, and self-appreciation. We are also getting the book or the 10 of Pentacles. And we are getting stars or the 6 of Cups. This is good energy for you. And it's not that hard. Get off social media. Stop looking at Divine Masculine. We keep getting this question. Divine Masculine asked us to do this recently. He's like, please stop spying on me. Meanwhile, while spying on you. But what he was asking is that you just trust that things are going to work out and that you don't need to do detective work to figure out how to make that happen. It's not really your job. Your job is to receive and be open to this connection, to making new memories, and at this point in time, focusing entirely on your self-worth and your healing, your shadow work, and your self-appreciation. And part of watching this person, or focusing on this past memories, part of that is what needs to be healed, and the appreciation of self needs to be developed. We appreciate when we're focusing on the masculine, we're appreciating the masculine. We're like, oh, the masculine is so great, or we're upset with him. Depends on like what we're seeing. But we really need to focus on ourselves instead of this union right now. This is the thing that will bring us into union. You're like, I don't want to focus on myself. I want a partner. I'm lonely. And I'm like, okay, well, the reason that you're lonely is because you're not focused on yourself. When you have a good, loving relationship with yourself, you don't ever feel lonely. You just don't. You might crave physical affection. You might crave companionship from time to time, but loneliness is not really a thing. There's a sense of security. Like, you kind of enjoy being on your own. It happens, believe me. So there's this development there that needs to take place. The good news is that you're going to do this by writing down what it is that you would like to manifest and putting a lot of detail into it. We're going to answer the question. I want you to write at the top of a notebook, why do I want this thing? And then whatever your thing is. Why do I want it? And then I want you to write all of the good feelings it's going to give you to receive it. So you're going to write it like this. You're going to say, like, I want to go on a date with my divine masculine so that we can start talking to each other, so that we can talk about new music we like, so that we can laugh about some of the crazy things that have happened, so we can start to build our ability to be in a safe space together, so that we can hold hands, so that we can share. You get the idea. Write down every single thing like that comprises what you think is your 10 of Pentacles. And then forget what you think you need, but just look at the essence of everything you said. If you're like, I want to be able to be with this person out socially, okay? Take yourself out socially. I'm going out to dinner with friends tonight. Go out to dinner with friends. If you're like, I want to be able to hold his hand, hold hands with your friends. Be physically affectionate with your friends. You don't have to have sex with them, but just be physically affectionate. If you said you wanted to be able to talk to him about some of your favorite things or share memes with him or whatever, do that. Do that with the people around you. Everything that you think you're going to feel good about doing with the masculine, start doing it so that you can be in the place where he can pick you up and take you out and you can do all those things. If you want that and all you can think about is how you don't have that in your life and I just need it, who is going to take you out? Who? And this is hope for the reunion. This is what you have to release, but all that you have to release is not your hope, but your disappointment when things don't go exactly as according to plan. That's why I want you to start to get to the essence of what you want, not the actual nitty-gritty of how to get it. That's your job today. Divine Masculine, what about you? Okay, you are getting not today, which says not dealing, hurt, avoiding a conversation, call, person, boundaries, and still angry. And then you are getting kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, and falling in love. You're getting the 4 of Wands upright, which we already got as your outcome card. If you rebuild this trust with the Divine Feminine and reciprocate. And then you are getting the 5 of Pentacles, which we also got as your challenge in reverse. So today, you need to stop avoiding this conversation. You need to give and receive this unconditional love with Divine Feminine and celebrate your union. Celebrate this that you desire with her, the outcome that you want to have, and release this belief in lack of love, lack of abundance, whatever it is. Stop procrastinating because you don't feel like you have enough. And focus on unconditional love. Unconditional loves mean you could show up as a broke-ass pauper with 16 illegitimate children, God bless you, and your Divine Feminine would see everything that has happened as external obstacles that you had to overcome. Accept your apology, forgive you, and love you unconditionally. And God bless her because she is a saint. So release this belief in lack mentality. Stop avoiding this conversation. And go get your love. Wow, you cannot get rid of this one card at the bottom of the deck. Right now, these are the things that are obstacles for you, for the union, for the both of you. Public recognition, 6 of Wands. Talking, interested, conversing more, a weighted message arrives, texting, calling, email, and hoovering, which is where you're like sucking someone in and keeping them there without actually bringing anything. And the birch rod, which is the whip in the Lenormand, or the Ace of Wands. So this is like sexual energy. So you are blocked right now. Your shadow is that you have to overcome your fears about talking about your reasons for why this relationship has not been publicly acknowledged. Because, newsflash, the both of you have had some kind of sexual experiences that have caused a need to hide, a need for a successful union between the two of you not to be immediately public. There's a reason for it, and you don't want to talk about it. And it's time to face that and stop doing the not today thing and actually talk about it, right? No, you don't want to. I know you don't. But you will feel better if you do. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope that you got a lot of insight from this reading. I took longer than I planned. I just gotta embrace that my readings are almost 2 hours long all the time. That's just a thing. I take it you enjoy it because my viewership is going up, so people are watching it. So glad I can give you as much help as you possibly can get in a day. And I will see you again. Just pay attention this weekend to my Instagram stories and to Grace Straga's Instagram stories to see exactly when we are going live or if that might be postponed this weekend. I do apologize for not having a solid time and date for you. It's just really challenging this weekend. So there will be, however, on Monday for sure, barring some kind of unfortunate event, there should be a normal divine check-in, yours truly, masculine, feminine, and then we'll do the Wednesday obstacles removed, and then a week from today we'll do release and rebuild again in that same cycle. And then pay attention to my TikToks, pearlsprayers.com. I'm going to go do a divine masculine and divine feminine message directly after I clean up this mess. And I will be doing that every day except for Tuesday on TikTok. So you can also see my readings there. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all my new followers. Thank you to all the people that have been supporting me for the last almost 2 years now. I do love you, and I'm sending a lot of light your way. And just know, 9:55 a.m., that the universe has your back. All right, I will see you sometime this weekend. Have a good one.